We went to the CRA and asked them for funding to a project that is $110 to $112 million project to really give this institution what it needs to look to the future. We started this process quite a while ago, and the CRA board, through the recommendation of the CAC, is providing us $25 million. And I want you to understand what that's for. And I think you're going to like what you have to see. All right, so let me tell you how we got here real quick. We started a strategic planning process in 2016 that was approved by my board, and it called for us to do a deep dive into investigating who we were we using the space that we have available to us to its fullest? Could we do better? And if we can't look to using some of our back of the house space, which was a tremendous amount of space for public programming, would we need to add additional space to that? And so that strategic plan put us on a trajectory for a self-study. We hired a consultant, we did a space analysis, they benchmarked us against institutions across the country. What should we look like with the square footage that we have in a metropolitan region our size with our budget size? It was a great study, it was long, it took 9 months to get through, but it was a great document and kind of a pathway for us. And the next piece of the strategic plan said, let's test that space analysis and see, does it really work on an architectural level, on a design level? Can an architectural team come in here and draw up plans that make sense according to the space analysis? So it was a test, and they did. They tested it, it worked, and then they drew up conceptual designs. And we engaged with this architectural firm, Weiss Manfredi, out of New York, and they came up with a plan that became our conceptual plan. And in that whole process, we're testing our board a little bit, taking their temperature. If we do this, because the strategic plan didn't say to do anything, it just said to do a self-investigation, a self-analysis, what could the financial implication be from the board? Like, could we really do this? Just kind of understanding it. And at that time, the conceptual master plan was saying that the project was going to be $80 million, soft and hard costs, to do a 45,000 to 50,000 square foot expansion and 25,000 square feet of a renovation. It was going to be $80 million. So we asked the board, what do you think? And we walked away with $40 million in commitments, 50% of the project costs. And it was like, all right, this is viable. Right? If my board is going to come in and shoulder 50% of the responsibility, I think we can get the community excited. So we went through this process. Of course, we closed the master plan in 2019. We started doing extended community discussions in 2020, and everybody knows the world shut down in March of 2020, and we could no longer talk to anybody. But we had had some early commitments, so we thought, let's start with the renovation, which was only going to be 15 million of that 80 million. So let me show you what we accomplished, because that started in 2021 is when we broke ground on the renovation. And we closed the renovation last year, but the first thing we onboarded was our education center. So that was 8,000 square feet of additional space to teach classes, and we weren't sure, we kind of knew. It wasn't, if we build it, will they come? It was like we were doing camps and classes, and it quadrupled the number of registrants almost overnight. All right, so it wasn't a matter of, will they come? It's like they've been waiting, right, to have more offered to them, right? So that was successful, and as you know, because I hope that you all walk downtown at night in your own neighborhood, this thing is lit until midnight. So it's a beacon of, civility, arts and culture. This is what's happening downtown. This is what this institution is providing to the community. It's colorful, it's light, it's safe, it's more safe in the area as a result of it. We have our LED walls lit, what's coming on. It's active even though this part of downtown is kind of closed unless there's a festival, right? So I'm happy about that. These are the education programs that we had in place that grew exponentially, right? Our lectures, we have art therapy informed programs for people who are living with dementia and early onset Alzheimer's, PTSD and trauma, depression brought on by a variety of reasons, both health and mental reasons, physical health and mental health reasons. We got strong community partnerships with UT and USF. They are some of the facilitators of these art therapy informed programs. Studio art programs down here now year-round, right? We couldn't do that without the onboarding of the education. So you can take classes as adults year-round now. We've got a whole lineup. All you need to do is look for that. 50% of our studio art classes are driven by scholarships. So if you're a needs-based person living downtown and you want to take a class, apply for a scholarship. We raise all those funds to help you all take those classes as well. Adult tours, K through 12 tours. This year we're going to see probably about, 35,000 students on tour from K through 12 schools from Hillsborough Area Public School District. We do exhibitions of student artwork, virtual programs online on our YouTube channel, but also on our website. Family Day student exhibitions, and we just started a program called Studio 55, which is a focus on breaking ageism in the marketplace, but also in the community. The fastest segment group, the fastest growing age demographic in our country will be over 65 years old. Will be the largest group that will exceed the number of children that are under 18 in the first time in our history in another 15 years. We have to be prepared for that, right? Because adults are not just 18 years and older, right? So they don't all have the same life experiences. We're trying to group people that have generational experiences that they can share with each other and better connect them. And right now that's a studio art program, but it's going to expand beyond that as well. So watch for those. We're also offering them this summer with our studio art programs. So this is what happened on the impact on growth. We went from 17 camps to 17 camps to 38, from 112 registrants to 420 registrants, just for summer camps, right? Quadrupled. Family days went to almost 1,500 people attending. We went to 4 classrooms, 8,000 square feet, and number of K through 12 students on tour from 2,600 to 8,000, but this year particularly special because we got this $1 million federal grant to onboard an additional 15,000 students. All right, so what happened with the West Lobby and Museum Store? As you know, if you ever took advantage of our cafe, we sunsetted that in anticipation of the expansion. We changed around our lobby entrance so that we have a lobby on the east side and on the west side, and we enlarged our store, and that's in anticipation of the expansion coming on board with a full service restaurant. In the number of galleries, we increased our number of galleries from 6 to 14. We went from 8 exhibits a year to 14 exhibits a year, from 14,000 square feet of gallery space to 32,000, all in the envelope of this building. All right, so for anybody that does construction, you know that renovation is only 25% of what expansion or build out and build up costs, right? So it was an inexpensive way to use existing space, 25,000 square feet. And I'm thrilled to say we're pretty much done. There are just a couple more punch list things on the renovation. So why is it important for us to think about expansion? Because as you know, this is what's happening in our neighborhood, all right? So we are having a community grow up around us. It's not like we moved an art museum to a neighborhood, right? That was already in existence that had been displaced. This is a neighborhood growing out of the ground. So Modera came on board last year or a year and a half ago. There's a waiting list I hear at the Henry. AER is starting to lease out their apartments in June. Those should be live in July. One Tampa Tower, Kotler United, TLR Group, all condos, Pendry, related group, 840 units, and the Furman Center. All of this in the next 2.5 years will bring probably 4,000 new residents to the area. So I'm not even pinpointing where you all live right now, unless you live in Madera or Henry. I'm just saying, this is in addition to. So why is that important? Because we have to be mindful that we are becoming and will need to become a community art museum as well. Not just a destination location, not I'm going downtown to visit. This is something that's important. We need to be mindful that we're going to be here for you. And as a result of that, and you know, Straz is doing a waterfront redevelopment and Tampa Theater's going through an expansion as well. So this place is hopping. So what's coming next? A complete redesign of 80,000 square feet of Curtis Hickson Park space in the northwest corner. right before the Cass Street Bridge. And on that, a 50,000 square foot expansion. So we are taking land that is completely unprogrammable and abandoned, and we're programming it, right? And that's what the CRA money is being used for. Let me break that down for you. It's a big swatch of land, all in the red dotted area. So we're going to take a look at better connectivity from the Riverwalk without obstructing what's already there. We'll pull it up and we'll replace it the way that it is. But we're going to do connectivity to the Riverwalk. We're going to get rid of this blight, right? So this is an abandoned piece of property along Cass Street. I mean, what a welcome mat, right? To the west entrance to downtown, a big piece of blight. It's awful. This is a nightmare. This Gasparilla-Cass Street intersection. It's dangerous for vehicles and it's dangerous for pedestrians. We want to take care of that. So we're going to put our addition on in this area, cantilevering over this. We're going to displace the dog park. The city has chosen a new location for it. And we're going to be adding 1,000 square feet to it and creating 2 parks, right? One for large dogs and one for small dogs. That's our project. So I'm excited about these things because I think we're going to correct a lot of things that when they put us here, because we were part of the city then, we're a private 501c3 now, but when the site was selected, Curtis Hickson Park wasn't done. So they built us, and then they built the park, and they never integrated the museums at the park, and they never integrated the park with the city urban landscape. So we can't take care of everything, but we're going to take care of our corner. So our architects are landscape architects and urban designers, as well as architectural designers, and that's why we hired them. So this is the footprint of the expansion, all right? So it connects to the north facade along the Post Street parking garage side, and it extends out not over the water, but over the Riverwalk, and connects up directly with our existing building. This is kind of what it's going to look like. So this is a redevelopment for sculpture plazas, restaurant, new entrances, and improved Riverwalk access. This west shaded outdoor amphitheater area will be for recreation, public programming, and outdoor sculpture, and it will be under an 80-foot cantilever, which will provide a shade pavilion, which is like awesome. And we'll be doing public and private programming under that. So at least it's an area that you can get out of the sun and out of the rain and still be on the Riverwalk. And everybody knows the flotillas in any water event stops at Cass Street Bridge. And this is where everybody wants to be when it happens. You'll be able to do that now in comfort, right? Anyway, this disturbs me more than anything else because this is what I drive by every morning to park in Poe Parking Garage. I don't come by way of Florida. I live in South Tampa, but I come by way of Boulevard, and then I come in this way. And every time I see this, it irks me because it's such an unpleasant entry to downtown. And it says, this is what you're going to experience when you go even further. Like, isn't that awesome? This is what we want to do. We want to turn it into a sculpture park. All right, so we want to, in the redesign of the site redevelopment, we're upgrading all of the utilities, all the electric, the chiller plant, all of that is being upgraded on that. You may not know that grassy knoll, that's west of our museum to the river, that's where all the utilities run through. There'll be a complete site redevelopment and upgrade of all of the utilities. And when that happens, we'll be able to redesign this area as well for outdoor sculpture as an entry to downtown, but also an extension of our museum. This is what you can expect when you come to Tampa. But it's also a great new entry for our museum. It says this is what you can expect when you come to our museum as well, not just downtown. A brand new entrance. We're going to really take a look, and we've conceived of this is still vehicular, but we believe aesthetically by making it look like a public area to walk, that we're going to be able to control some of that craziness that goes on there, right? It looks like you can walk here, but you can also still drive, and you'll come undercover, 40-foot cantilever coming out to the north. We're going to put an elevator on the Poe Parking Garage 4th and 5th floors that you can take through this building and be let off undercover. Now that won't be just for us, right? That'll be public. So we're building it for the city. We want it because 95% of the people that come here park in Poe Parking Garage. And they can't traverse the railroad tracks, and nobody can do business with the railroad. CSX is more powerful than God. And you just can't negotiate with them. So, all right, we can't traverse the railroad tracks. Let's go over them and figure out a way to get to this side. But if you're going to the Riverwalk, you have guests in town and they're parking at Poe and they want to go there, they can park on the 4th and 5th floors and go and then just go to the Riverwalk. But it's an amenity that we really felt was necessary as part of our project. This is what it will look like when you come out under the elevator. So we want to put public sculpture in a public plaza. Again, it's 40 feet deep. So that's a nice new north entrance to the museum. And it's going to connect with where you all came in. If you came in on the west side, you came into the existing space over here with the lobby. That's why we redesigned this space, is that this will still be the lobby area, but now you'll have an entire new lobby going out on the west side. So this is kind of what it'll feel like if you're coming from Poe Parking Garage. You'll come into the museum on the north or the south side. You come in from the park or you come in from the garage, but you'll come in and then you'll register. Maybe this is the way you came in today for go shopping in the store. Or you come in on this side, which is indoor-outdoor dining. It's an 8,000 square foot lobby, an area where you can rest with a bar, which will be accessible and you can use without a ticket to the museum. So you don't have to be a member to use the restaurant. It'll be open to the public. And we're hoping from 7 in the morning until 9 at night, 7 days a week. The auditorium will be on the same floor. On the ground floor will be where the stage is. On the mezzanine level is what we're looking at in this pre-function space. But it's a very generous stage that seats 150 people. So we want to augment our visual art programming with the performing arts, right? But the auditorium will also be an opportunity to expand our education mission to video and film and cinema in a very productive way. So education moves on into another direction. We've really focused now on 2D art and 3D art. Now we'll have an opportunity to do multimedia in this space and more formal lecture programs in relationship to the universities that we partner with. So here's the south entrance. So this will be a full-service restaurant cafe, open 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's the dream, right? Because where can you get a cup of coffee on the Riverwalk, right? You have to get it off of Ashley or on Tampa Street. This will be much, much closer to the river. And as you can see, we have direct access from a variety of ways up to that space. And this is what it will look like indoor, outdoor. So it'll seat 40 inside, it'll seat 40 outside. So we feel like it's a winner in its design. And we're still working on what kind of a menu and who will service it, because we're not putting cooks and busboys and waiters on our payroll. It'll be subcontracted service for people who do this type of work and do it well. But we really want to make this affordable and especially accessible for people who are visiting from out of town for maybe breakfast and lunch, and maybe there's a higher end opportunity for a dinner menu. Unclear at the moment. I'm not the expert on that. I'm just an art historian that runs an art museum. Someone will do a study. The dog park will be moved to a little bit south of Kiley Gardens. So here is the large dog park in its conceptual drawings, and a small dog park. So we're literally adding an additional 1,000 square feet and doing something that is a little bit more safety and secure for animals. I don't know whether it's a trend. I have a dog. I probably would not let it out in a dog park with large dogs. But this seems to be the way that our architects wanted to go, and the city loves it. So I'm very excited about that. It's more space, and it's a little bit more equidistance between Ashley and also between the Hillsborough River. So as the condos and the apartments are coming up, it's a little bit more central to what's happening with the other residencies. Yeah, so the second floor, that's all on the ground floor. Second floor amenities. We're going to take our existing sculpture terrace and we're going to expand it out 4,000 square feet for an outdoor sculpture area. It will connect up with a brand new special events flexible space, and I'm going to go through that with you now. There's the way that this connects up on the second floor to existing space. This is the Sullivan Terrace that exists, the big cutout now. It'll extend out here with these amazing views and connect up with a new lobby that will take you back into the galleries, or there will be an art lounge space where you can grab a cup of coffee, read your iPad or newspaper, just enjoy the views, pick up some specialty merchandise, and enjoy getting off your feet while you're visiting the museum. So this is what it might feel like from that art lounge into this very large space that's geared to digital exhibition programming. So this is a 40-foot long, 30-foot high LED digital wall. It would be the largest of its type in Florida. Let me go back and do that one again. And there are thousands of digital artists out there right now that are doing this type of programming, this type of exhibition programming. I'm really excited that we can offer that, and they're attracting 100 to 250,000 visitors a year, right, in major metropolitan areas. This is what it looks like at the Museum of Modern Art right now in New York with the Turkish artist Refik Anadol. Now their screen is the same height as what we're looking at, but only half as long. So this would be for digital exhibition programming, which I'm excited about. But it's also, let's say there's a major feature film that we want to show and it's going to attract 800 people. So we can do that during the day because it's an LED TV. We don't have to darken the room. We could also do a TED Talk. We've had lecturers here like Christo and Jean Meplenza that are attracting, 600, 700, 800 people with needing to then simulcast in different spaces. We could do a program in there like that now. So it's a wonderful amenity, and when it's not being used for this, it's going to be a banquet catered sit-down experience, right? So the walls are 32 feet high glass walls. It'll seat 500. It has a commissary, and so for either programming digitally or for these extraordinary events, we throw amazing events, 4 fundraisers a year, and we have our own programs. But for rentals, this is a really special opportunity, right? The best views in town. So the rooftop amenities that we're looking at, so the second floor is really a 2-story floor. So we consider it both the second and third floor. On the 4th floor, we also have some rooftop spaces. We're gonna have an outdoor, this maybe feel a little bit more like a pre-function space to an event that's happening on the 2nd floor because it's the same footprint, but it's also being designed for smaller outdoor sculpture under cover. And we're going to have a 3rd kitchen so that we can expand our education programming to culinary arts. And when we're not teaching, it can be used as a chef table for a special private event. So again, opportunities, right, that don't exist here. We did a lot of discussion and study about what's missing and trying to put that into this community that deserves it and I think is asking for it. This would be what the Oculus would look like in this covered outdoor space for events or just enjoying the views and enjoying the additional sculpture. It'll also have an interior space that's enclosed that will seat up to 100 for a smaller event, right? Or a board meeting. What have we done financially to get to where we are? This is a $110 million goal. We have raised almost $91,500,000. The breakdown is private and individual foundations at 62% of our fundraising, public, that's government at 34%, and corporations at 4%. We're very, very close, and along the way we also raised $6 million towards our endowment. So we are narrowing this, and we're happy to have you all write us a check this evening to close us out on our campaign. That's right. But you know what, we're so close, and we've got some really good prospects in line. We really do want to break ground in the next 12 months, if not earlier. I'd like to see it start. You'll see some activity this summer because we have to do the dog park first in order to get rid of the existing dog park in order to do the site redevelopment for utilities. So you're going to see some movement right now. That's not going to require a full-blown construction loan for the project, but we really want to finish this out quickly because it's a 24-month project to get built once we start. So this is our contribution and our part of the neighborhood plan. And I am thrilled to have you all part of the conversation. Yeah.